All right, so we've all been there, right? Late night, craving something specific, and you make a questionable snack choice at the nearest 7-Eleven.
Yep.
But the articles you sent me about 7-Eleven in Taiwan, it's like a whole other universe.
What stands out to me is how central these stores are to daily life. Not just a convenience store, almost like a community hub.
Yeah, the range of services blew me away. Paying bills, concert tickets, dry cleaning. It's like having a personal assistant on every corner.
Makes sense when you consider how dense Taiwan is, especially cities like Taipei. People need these services, and 7-Eleven makes it efficient and accessible.
It's like imagine never going to the post office or bank again. Everything you need at the local 7-Eleven. Didn't the article say you're never more than a few minutes walk from one?
Right, the density is remarkable, a vital part of the urban fabric.
Okay, so picture this. You're out in Taipei for the night. Where's everyone gathering before and after? 7-Eleven, I read it's like a huge part of nightlife.
It is, and it's not just grabbing a snack, it's social. That sense of community.
Yeah, they've created this safe, well-lit space to hang out, grab a bite. And being open 24 hours fits perfectly with that fast-paced life in Taiwan.
Definitely. And that 24-hour accessibility is also a reflection of how safe people feel there. They can go to a 7-Eleven at any time and feel comfortable.
Now, when I think convenience store food, I'm picturing like those sad roller hot dogs. But the articles made Taiwanese 7-Eleven food sound amazing.
Oh yeah, it's not the typical fare. Authentic Taiwanese dishes like beef noodle soup, oden, tea eggs. They even have seasonal items that change throughout the year.
Okay, but sometimes it's about the people. And the articles describe the clerks as like multitasking masters, memorizing orders, multilingual assistants, superhuman.
The efficiency is striking, not just speed, but genuine helpfulness, dedication to customer service.
It seems like it goes beyond just being polite. It's that welcoming atmosphere, making customers feel valued.
Yeah, key part of the 7-Eleven experience in Taiwan,
Yeah.
creating that sense of community where the clerks are almost like neighbors.
And speaking of community, the articles mention seating areas and Wi-Fi. They've turned the stores into little social hubs.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Blurring the lines between public and private space, work, study, socialize, or just relax. So different from most convenience stores here.
It all goes back to 7-Eleven being a microcosm of Taiwanese society, elevating the simple convenience store to something much more meaningful.
It is, where efficiency, community, and a touch of warmth come together. It's a surprisingly satisfying experience.
But here's the thing. The articles highlighted how 7-Eleven in Taiwan is just different, cleaner, organized, with service that seems almost unheard of elsewhere. What do you think causes that difference?
Well, a few things, probably. Cultural influences, Taiwan's emphasis on community, hospitality, and attention to detail.
Like they infuse the best of their culture into their convenience stores.
I think there's a practical side, too. Dense population, fast-paced life, efficiency is key. So these stores evolved to meet those specific needs.
I'm curious about how 7-Eleven impacts small businesses in Taiwan. Wouldn't convenience stores be competition?
It's a great question, and part of what makes the Taiwanese model so unique. Instead of competing, 7-Eleven often partners with these local businesses, giving them a platform to sell their products and reach more customers.
So 7-Eleven offers more variety, and the businesses get visibility and a huge customer base, a win-win.
Exactly. It's about mutual benefit, not cutthroat competition.
I love that. A microcosm of a more sustainable and community-oriented approach.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about the efficiency, the community, the business model, but the articles also mentioned some design elements that set Taiwanese 7-Elevens apart. What did you notice?
Well, I was struck by the focus on a welcoming atmosphere. They often have seating areas, but also details like lighting and decor to create a more inviting feeling.
Like making it less transactional, a place you actually want to be.
Yeah, exactly. Blurring the lines between public and private space, creating these hybrid environments for a wider range of needs.
They've taken the idea of a convenience store and reimagined it. A community hub, a social space, even a cultural experience.
You got it. Going beyond traditional convenience to create something more holistic and engaging.
You've definitely made me curious. Now I'm even more eager to hear about those must-try treats and those viral clerk videos.
I think you'll be fascinated. Shall we dive into those next?
So we've covered a lot about what makes 7-Eleven in Taiwan so unique, but I'm still curious about those must-try snacks you mentioned. The articles made them sound incredible.
They did paint a tempting picture, didn't they? What caught your eye?
The oden sounded interesting. I know it's Japanese, but apparently Taiwanese 7-Elevens have their own spin on it.
Yeah, well, oden is from Japan.
Yeah.
It's become super popular in Taiwan, and 7-Eleven has really capitalized on that. They have all sorts of ingredients, fish cakes and daikon radish to oiled eggs, even meat skewers, all
Mhm.
simmered in this flavorful broth.
So it's like build your own hot pot, but at a convenience store? That's crazy. What about those tea eggs? They seem like a classic Taiwanese snack.
Definitely. Tea eggs are everywhere in Taiwan, from street food to fancy restaurants. But 7-Elevens are popular because they're consistently good and easy to find. Marinated in soy sauce, black tea, and spices, giving them that rich, savory flavor and a marbled look.
Okay, now I'm getting hungry. The articles also mentioned some seasonal drinks that 7-Eleven in Taiwan is known for. What are those all about?
Ah, yes, the seasonal drinks. Huge part of the 7-Eleven experience there. And they're always changing. New flavors for holidays and seasons, keeping things interesting. It's a smart way to tap into that love of novelty and get people coming back.
So it's not just convenience, it's that anticipation for what new flavors they'll come up with. Like they've turned a simple convenience store into a foodie destination.
Exactly, and I think that reflects a bigger trend in Taiwan. Food isn't just fuel, it's an experience. They really embrace the art of eating and drinking, from their street food to their high-end places.
It's funny because here we tend to think of convenience stores as places to just grab something quick, a last minute thing. But in Taiwan, they've elevated it.
They have. It's about more than just convenience. It's community, quality, and finding delight in the everyday.
Speaking of delight, let's talk about those viral videos of the 7-Eleven clerks. The articles describe them as multitasking ninjas, handling tons of stuff incredibly fast.
Ah, yes, the legendary efficiency. It's really captured people's attention worldwide.
I can just picture it ringing up purchases, making coffee, restocking, all while answering questions and helping people with a smile, like a performance.
It is, and I think it speaks to that cultural value in Taiwan, where hard work, efficiency, and good service are highly respected. These clerks are seen as skilled, and they really take pride in what they do.
Makes you wonder about their training. Some kind of boot camp for convenience store clerks.
I don't know the details, but I imagine it's on-the-job experience with a huge emphasis on customer service from the start. Plus, that cultural context, efficiency, and helpfulness are just ingrained values.
Okay, so they're efficient, friendly, practically superhuman. Is there anything these Taiwanese 7-Eleven clerks can't do?
Well, while they're great at multitasking and customer service, I doubt they have superpowers. But their dedication and skill are impressive.
Fair enough. But it makes you wonder if we can learn from this. Could we take some of their ideas and make our convenience stores more efficient and customer-focused?
It's an interesting question. There are parts of the Taiwanese model that could be adapted, but we have to think about cultural differences and how that would affect things.
Yeah, what works in Taiwan might not work here, but it's still worth exploring, right?
Absolutely. It's good to study successful models and see what we can learn. Maybe by understanding the ideas behind the Taiwanese 7-Eleven experience, we can improve our systems and create a better experience for everyone.
Now, one thing that struck me as really unique about the Taiwanese 7-Eleven model is how they bring in local culture and community into their stores. Can you talk more about that?
Sure. One of the big things is the partnerships with local businesses. Instead of seeing them as competition, 7-Eleven often works with them to help them sell their products and reach more people.
Right, we talked about that earlier. It's a win-win. But what other ways do they bring in local culture?
Well, they often feature art by local artists, promote events, and even sell products that are specific to that area. It creates this sense of place and connection to the community that goes beyond just buying stuff.
Like their cultural ambassadors showcasing Taiwan makes the whole experience feel more authentic and interesting.
Exactly. It's not just about products. It's creating a cultural experience, a sense of belonging, and a connection.
You know, it's making me rethink convenience stores completely. It doesn't have to be just a boring transactional place. It can reflect the community.
I agree. The Taiwanese 7-Eleven model is a great example of how to take something ordinary and make it practical and meaningful.
Okay, so we've talked about the food, the clerks, the cultural integration. What else about the Taiwanese 7-Eleven experience stood out to you as unique?
I was really struck by how clean and organized everything is,
Mm.
impeccably maintained, which creates a much more pleasant atmosphere.
Yeah, that's often missing in convenience stores here. It's like they've turned cleanliness into an art form.
I think it's connected to that cultural focus on details and creating a harmonious environment. It's not just about being clean, it's about order and respect for the space.
Right, like they're saying, we care about this place and want you to feel comfortable here.
Exactly. It's a subtle but important message that adds to the positive experience.
Okay, so we've covered a lot about what makes Taiwanese 7-Eleven special. But one last question.
I'm listening. What's up?
What is it about these stores that has captured people's imaginations? Why are we so fascinated by Taiwanese 7-Elevens?
That's a great question, and I think it's a few things. First, it's the surprise. We don't normally think of convenience stores as efficient, high quality, and community focused. So when we see something different, it gets our attention.
Like they took something ordinary and made it extraordinary? That's
Yeah.
appealing.
Exactly. And second, I think it taps into this desire for a more human approach. In a world that's increasingly tech-driven and automated, the Taiwanese 7-Eleven reminds us about human connection, personalized service, and community.
It's refreshing in a world that can feel impersonal, and I think we all want that, even if we don't realize it.
Right. And finally, I think it gives us a glimpse of a future where convenience doesn't have to mean sacrificing quality or connection. It shows us that it's possible to create a system that's efficient and humane and meets the needs of individuals and the community.
A vision of a better future. And it all starts with a simple convenience store. Who knew?
It's a testament to innovation, creativity, and understanding human needs. A story that keeps inspiring people all over.
Okay, before we get too philosophical, we got to talk about those viral videos of the clerks. We talked about efficiency and customer service, but seeing is believing.
You're right. Words only do so much. To really get it, you got to see it. And luckily, the internet is full of these videos.
So for our listeners who haven't seen them, what should they expect? What makes these clerks so mesmerizing?
Get ready to be amazed by their speed, precision, and ability to do a million things at once without missing a beat. It's like a dance.
A perfectly choreographed dance. But instead of fancy moves, it's ringing up purchases, making coffee, restocking shelves.
Exactly. And they do it all with a smile and a genuine desire to help. You can tell they take pride in what they do and enjoy interacting with customers.
Like they've made even the most basic tasks look fun and fulfilling. That's a powerful message.
It is. It reminds us that even in ordinary jobs, there's room for excellence, creativity, and purpose.
Okay, you've convinced me. I'm checking out those videos after this. But before we wrap up, I want to hear your final thoughts on what we can learn from all this.
I think the main takeaway is that convenience doesn't have to be soulless or mediocre. We can create systems that are efficient and human-centered, serving both individuals and the community. And maybe by looking at the Taiwanese model, we can find ways to use those ideas here and create a better experience for everyone.
That's a great point. So for our listeners, I encourage you to find those videos, watch those clerks, and be inspired by the possibilities.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll be doing a deep dive on the amazing transformation of convenience stores right here.
Now that's a deep dive I'd love to have.
Makes you think, doesn't it? Imagine convenience stores being more than just a place to grab milk or a snack.
It really challenges how we think about convenience stores. We see them as just places to buy stuff, but the Taiwanese model shows they can be so much more.
Totally. Hubs for the community, platforms for local businesses, even places to experience culture. Expanding what convenience means to include more needs and wants.
And it's not about just copying Taiwan. It's about understanding their ideas, community, details, customer service, and using those here in our own way.
That's important. What works in one place might not in another. But those core ideas, belonging, a welcoming feeling, great products and services, those are things everyone wants. We can adapt that.
You know, it's funny. As we've been talking, I've been thinking about my own convenience store experiences, and they're pretty much the opposite of what we're describing.
Really? Tell me more.
Well, I remember one time late at night, driving home from a trip, stopped at a convenience store for a snack. It was dimly lit, kind of dingy, and the cashier looked miserable.
The classic late-night convenience store stop. Not always the best vibe.
Exactly. And the food was depressing. Stale chips, questionable hot dogs, tons of sugary drinks. The complete opposite of those Taiwanese 7-Elevens.
Shows the difference between the two approaches. One's all about the transaction, get people in and out. The other's about an experience, community, a real connection between the store and the people.
Makes you wonder, can we even bridge that gap? Could our convenience stores become more like the ones in Taiwan?
It'd be tough, but not impossible. Needs a change in thinking, a willingness to invest in making a better environment, and working with local businesses and communities.
Sounds like we need a convenience store revolution.
Maybe. Or maybe it's about going back to what convenience really means. It's not just speed and efficiency, it's making life easier, more enjoyable, more connected. And the Taiwanese 7-Eleven shows how to do that.
So we've explored Taiwanese 7-Elevens, their efficiency, community focus, the food, but we always like to give our listeners something to think about after the show.
What if we all imagined our perfect convenience store? What would it look like? The atmosphere? What would it sell?
A place to get a good and healthy meal, connect with neighbors, maybe even learn something about your community.
Maybe a space that shows off what makes your neighborhood unique. with local art, local events, and stuff from local businesses.
They could even have a comfy place to sit, read a book, have some coffee, and just relax.
Endless possibilities, really.
Mm.
Starts with thinking differently, realizing convenience can be more than a quick purchase. It can be a chance to connect, to explore, and make things better for us in our communities.
So listeners, we challenge you to imagine that, your dream convenience store,
Mm.
and then think about what we can do together and on our own to make it happen.
And remember, even small things can make a difference. Supporting local businesses, being part of our communities, demanding better from the places we shop. We can all help create a world where convenience actually makes our lives better.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Taiwanese 7-Elevens. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep finding those hidden gems of knowledge in the most unexpected places.